You see them on the wrists of LeBron, on Roger Federer, on every Wall Street boss you've ever seen in a movie. Every third luxury watch sold on the planet is a Rolex. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about Rolex is a carefully crafted illusion? The truth is, the company is like one of its own buildings in Geneva. 5 public floors everyone can see, and 6 secret ones buried deep underground, locked away from the world. This isn't just a watch company, it's a fortress. And today, we're breaking in to uncover the insane story of how an orphan from a tiny German town built the most secretive luxury empire on Earth, and why you'll never believe how it really operates. The Great American Paradox. Rolex is a walking contradiction. On one hand, it's the ultimate status symbol, the badge of success that everyone wants. On the other, it's one of the most locked-down private companies in the world. In over a century of business, Rolex has never published a financial report. We have no idea how much money they make, where they spend it, or what their profit margins are. Their main factory has stricter security than the Pentagon. No phones, no photos, entry only by iris scan. Top executives sign lifetime NDAs. Why the obsession with secrecy? It all goes back to the founder, a guy who lost everything, only to gamble it all on a crazy idea. The orphan who changed time. The man behind the crown was Hans Wilsdorf. Born in 1881 in Germany, his life was shattered by 12. Both his parents were gone. His uncle sold the family business and shipped him off to a posh boarding school. Young Hans hated it, but it was the best thing that could have happened. He became a star student, mastering French and English, and he met a kid from Switzerland who sold him a dream of snowy Alps and perfect watchmaking. After school, he chased that dream to Switzerland, bouncing through jobs until he landed at a watch company. His gig was grunt work, customer service and winding hundreds of watches a day. But this boring job sparked an obsession. He'd take watches home, take them apart, and put them back together, learning every tiny gear and spring. He then moved to London and quickly rocketed up to become a sales manager. He was a superstar, but he had a bigger vision. So in 1905, at just 24 years old, he quit and started his own company. And he bet everything on one radical idea that everyone thought was crazy: making the wristwatch cool. Back then, real men carried pocket watches. Wristwatches were seen as dainty, unreliable jewelry for women. Hans thought that was ridiculous. He was convinced that convenience would win. His mission: to prove that a watch on your wrist could be as tough and precise as the one in your waistcoat. He partnered with a genius Swiss mechanic to build super-accurate tiny movements. But the real challenge was marketing. So Wilsdorf went for the ultimate mic drop. He submitted his wristwatch for official certification at the Kew Observatory in England, the same place that tested chronometers for the British Royal Navy. It was like a smartwatch today trying to pass NASA specs for a Mars rover. And in 1914, it worked. His Rolex wristwatch became the first ever to earn a Class A precision certificate. The game was over. He had the proof, building the myth. But a certificate is just a piece of paper. You need stories. And Hans Wilsdorf was a marketing savant, the Steve Jobs of his day. His first big stunt was in 1927 with a swimmer named Mercedes Gleitze. He convinced her to wear his new Oyster watch during her attempt to swim the English Channel. It was a brutal, freezing swim in November. She barely made it, but the Rolex emerged in perfect working order, keeping perfect time. Wilsdorf didn't just hope people would hear about it. He went all in, buying a full-page ad in the Daily Mail to showcase the story. Later, he put the Oyster watches in aquarium displays in store windows, with live fish swimming around them. People could see with their own eyes. These things were truly waterproof. The legend grew. Rolex was on the wrists of the first expedition to fly over Mount Everest. It was on the wrist of race car legend Malcolm Campbell when he broke the land speed record. But the most hardcore story comes from World War II. A British POW, Clive Nutting, wrote a letter from his German camp to Rolex in Geneva, asking for a watch. Against all odds, a year later, he received a Rolex chronograph with a personal note from Hans Wilsdorf himself, telling him not to worry about payment until after the war. Nutting used that watch to time his escape attempts. After the war, he paid his bill in full. This story went viral 1940s style, and Rolex became a global legend. Why Rolex isn't a normal company? Here's where it gets really interesting. With no children to inherit his empire, Hans Wilsdorf made his masterstroke. He created the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation and gave it 100% ownership of Rolex. This single move changed everything. Rolex was no longer a company. It became a perpetual purpose trust. This explains the three big mysteries. Secrecy. As a private trust, they tell no one anything. No shareholders, no quarterly reports, no pressure to reveal suppliers or finances. Stability. Rolex has had only 3 CEOs in its entire history. They plan in 50-year cycles, not quarterly earnings. The money machine. Analysts estimate Rolex brings in around $13 billion a year. That cash doesn't just sit there. Through the foundation, Rolex secretly invests hundreds of millions in prime real estate all over the world. And because it's structured as a charitable foundation, it operates with massive tax advantages. It's a perfectly designed financial fortress. So, why are you paying $15,000? So why does a simple watch cost as much as a car? You're not paying for a timekeeping device. You're paying for a symbol. That crown on the dial is a membership card to an exclusive club. Rolex masterfully creates artificial scarcity. You can't just walk into a store and buy the model you want. The waiting list is years long. This fuels insane hype and sends secondary market prices soaring. It's the ultimate Veblen good. The higher the price, the more people want it. Rolex isn't selling you time. It's selling you a legend built by an orphan, and now protected like a state secret in the heart of Switzerland. So what about you? Which Rolex model is your ultimate grail? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more secrets behind the world's biggest brands. Until next time.